Hello and welcome to Palindrome ASMR. Today I'm going to be breaking out the hair curlers. Ooh, that just sends tingles down my spine. The kind of tingles you get when you... I don't know if I like these tingles. It's like, getting a really hot water bath. That's what this feels like. The water is really hot, but at the same time it feels good. Oh. If it's not too hot, if it's like a sauna level of hot, you're uncomfortable when you hear it, but so I have a theory. If you've watched any amount of Japanese anime, you may find that there is a recurring theme in modern anime, one that I always found to be slightly strange, and that is the theme of enemies becoming allies. That happens in quite a lot of... I'm saying this seriously while I'm putting hair curlers in my hair. That is, anyways, I can name off the top of my head many anime that have this theme. There is Gurren Lagann, Kill la Kill, Arpeggio of Blue Steel, Blast of Tempest, and a whole bunch of others I can't remember right now that have this theme. And I was always kind of confused by it because it happened more often than in American media. And I think the answer to this question is that Japan has had a big moment in history where one of their enemies became one of their best friends. And that is their relationship with the United States after World War II. Whereas Soviet Russia and East Germany, there were two conquered nations in World War II. There was Germany and there was Japan. I think because the Japanese-American War in World War II was a contest between two nations and two nations only, it is unique in the World War theater. There was very little intervention in the Pacific War by any country other than Japan or America. And I think I support the... You might be seeing what I'm about to say here, but I have my reasons. I would have... From my knowledge, I would have dropped both bombs on Japan. Not because I don't like Japan, not because I want 40,000 people to be incinerated in an instant, 40,000 civilians, mind you, because the bombs did not target any major metropolitan areas that, not metropolitan, but any major strategic locations. The bombs did not explode on strategic locations. They exploded on purely metropolitan areas, purely civilian areas. And I don't know where I learned this. I think I learned this from my history textbook. You can check my facts, and I say this to you, check my facts. And it's kind of distracting when I'm doing this, but I'll keep doing it. I would have done it too, because the Pacific War had to come to a swift and decisive end, because a couple of months later, Russia would have joined the war in the East. And that, I think, was the reason behind the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Not anything Japan did, but the threat of Russia. And I think if those atomic bombs had not been dropped, we would be facing, Japan would have been conquered on foot, and Russia would have, basically we would have a North and South Japan, which could have very drastically changed the course of history. And you can check my facts on this. You can research, was Russia about to enter the Pacific War at the end of World War II? And what you find may be different from what I say. And I don't know about the state of the Japanese morale when they were pushed to their home islands. But this is the same country and the same culture that caused thousands of soldiers to jump off of a cliff rather than being captive to the Americans. Research this. When the Japanese saw on islands like Iwo Jima and Nagasaki, not Nagasaki, I forget what they were. Thousands of Japanese soldiers jumped off of a cliff because they did not want to end up being captured by American soldiers. This is the culture that Japan had at the time. And while I do not know about their morale later in the war, I do know that it is very possible that Japan could have fought to the last breath. And that is my build-up to the complete and utter turnaround that Japan faced. Not only does Japan have a good economic relation with the United States, they have a intertwined military relationship. There are lots of stories in history of former enemies becoming friends, like Britain and the United States after the Revolutionary War, and in general, the changing politics of Europe. At one century, France is mortal enemies with Britain and Germany, and the next they're fighting. There's always 100 years can do a lot to an alliance or a beef with another country. But what's so special about the Japan-America relationship is that America won over Japan. The Japanese went from absolutely despising Americans due to their wartime propaganda. I mean, just look at how they treated American soldiers in concentration camps. And for that matter, look at how Americans treated Japanese. Their concentration camps. Although they weren't really concentration camps per se, they were rather confinement camps, internment camps. Yeah, that's what they were. But 20 years later, and in the middle of the Japanese economic miracle, as is called by, if you've seen the History of Japan video, where it's funny, it's like ninjas, it has a lot of jingles, and I forget what it's called, but I watched that. It was pretty fun. It's a weeaboo trap. But this, by the way, is a non-weeaboo conversation. I am not speaking here out of my weeaboo-ness. I am speaking here out of my genuine interest in international history and media. If you want to see evidence of American cultural insemination in Japan, just look at their language. There are, I'd say, more than 100 different English words that have become Japanese words. Like languages often do, Japanese has borrowed and enculturated words from English. To name a few, there is ice for ice cream, safe for safe, story for story, situation for situation, door, I don't know if that's a cognate or not. It might be a completely etymologically different word, door and doa in Japanese. But that sounds like a really interesting thing, and like various other technical things. And look at how much the Japanese love baseball. They love baseball. I think that is a observable fact that the Japanese sport of choice is baseball. Although I could be wrong, but yeah, I mean, and this all ties back into that theme that I keep seeing in anime. I don't know if this is an old theme. I'm not versed in Japanese literature or old Japanese film, pre-war film, but this seems like a relatively modern event. And the former enemy turned friend is a cultural artifact, a symptom of the relation that they have had with their former hated enemy. I mean, we nuked them. Like, you can't get any more aggressive than that. And yet here we are with American culture penetrating Japan and Japanese culture penetrating the United States. Although that is a new millennium development, to be honest. The new millennium by new millennium development, I mean the anime subculture in the United States is a relatively new one, as far as I know. And you won't find very many people over the age of 30 who have watched anime for more than 10 years. Go, try it. It is a modern phenomenon, which I find very interesting. And I think it would be fun to see when words... I think the best candidate for first anime-induced word share, where anime causes English to adopt a new word, has to be kawaii. I mean, anyone who knows what I'm talking about, you're gonna agree. But that's just one of a wave of new words that we are going to import from Japan. Because this anime thing isn't going to get any smaller. It's only going to get bigger. And when you are influencing impressionable young adults who are at the core of language evolution, you're going to get a little bit of cultural sharing. At least in my opinion. I am not a linguist. Do not take any of this as the... Do not take any of this. This is... Look at all these hair curlers. Do not take any of this 100% seriously because I have not checked my facts. This is merely idle speculation. And it should be treated as such. It is merely idle speculation. The stuff that I think about while I'm taking a shower or while I'm driving to school. Speaking of driving to school, my car has almost broken down. I mean, it's on its last legs. And fixing it is going to be very expensive. And I do not have a job. I am low on cash. I literally am starving myself to save money. Like, I eat very little because eating is prohibitively expensive. Even eating at McDonald's. I mean, you can rack up like $7 a meal if you want to eat your fill. And that is just too much for me. I am a very poor college student. It helps that I'm not very hungry very often. But I am not in a position to pay lots of money to fix a car that is refusing to start properly and dying on me, stalling out on me when I drive it. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I could start like a Kickstarter. No, I don't have. Not enough people watch this channel for that to be a reality. I've seen it done before a lot of times. Channels will get a sudden suppress. I'm looking for a word here. Overwhelming? No. Surprising? No. Superlative? No. Completely no. Superlative is like tangentially related. That's what superlative is it starts with an S. There's a word I'm looking for. It refers to the arrival of a need that is unexpected. Come on. Think of that word. Think of that word. I'm going to define it more. The arrival of a need that is unexpected and expensive. Come on. I gotta have this word. It's in there somewhere. It starts with an S. I think it starts with an S. Oh my God. I can't. There's a ringing sound. Do you hear that? I hear it. It's my trailer. Yeah, it was that light. Anyways. Come on. Come on. For a specific word, and I'm not gonna end this video until I think of it. Come on. They have a blank need. They have a blank need. Do you hear the rain? It's raining outside. It's raining outside. Okay, this condition is called lethargica. The feeling of having a word on your tongue, but another word takes its place. And so this word has been overshadowed by superfluous, which is not the word I am looking for. But anyways, if you can think of the word, tell me. I give up. I said I wasn't stopping this video until I find it, but I'm not going to find it anytime soon. I'm sure it'll come to me in like a day or two. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you want to support this channel, go to Amazon. I have the links in the description, and buy some of my books. Do it, and I will be very happy, because you'll be getting a book out of the deal. You know, you're supporting me, and you're getting a book, a good book. I don't know if I should be saying that I'm the author. Should I be saying my own books are good? Well, at the very least, they are good. They may not be excellent, but they are good. I can attest to that fact. I've heard enough people say they're good to be confident in the fact that they are indeed good, if not the best. But read my books. Buy my books, because you'll be supporting me if you do. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.